What's up, guys? Today I want to do something a little different, because there's a lot of people that I look at in the business that have been doing the business longer than me, or who's actually just really doing the business and sharing. And I've been following this guy, the Economic Ninja. And one thing that he has over me is that he's a little older, so he went through the last crash and owned real estate. And so that's valuable. So I've been looking at some of his stuff. And today he dropped, last week he dropped a video kind of sharing some news. So I just wanted to do a little reaction video, tell you my thoughts about what he's saying about today's economy and how we as real estate investors can maximize the downturn that we're in. So let's get right into the video.
Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. We're gonna talk about something, ironically, it's in the housing industry. It's about your mortgage. It's about getting a new mortgage. And this was literally right here on Fox Business this morning when I woke up. And it was about the topic that I was literally sketching out the outline for the new course that I put out on how to crush it, or the stock market crash course. No, gosh darn it, it's the real estate crash course. Holy cow, Ninja, wake up. The Ninja doesn't edit. We started this new course and I was actually outlining the importance of shopping for a mortgage, and I saw this news story and I wanted to go over it with you because it is so vitally important. And I want to give you a brief synopsis of what I'll be talking about in the course. I'll put a link to that course if you want. It's the pre-filming. We are literally just now outlining the whole thing, but we have a table of contents out there for you guys. I cannot wait to bring you through this real estate downturn, this cycle correction, which I believe is going to be historic, quite frankly, and there's going to be a lot of emotions tied up with sellers and buyers. It's going to be just epic because that's when you make money. So whether or not you want to buy a ton of rentals like I want to in this next downturn, or if you just want to buy your own home, your first ever home, and you don't know how to navigate it, that's how I'm going to write this course. So me and Mrs. Ninja, we're sitting down.
Now, first things first, I don't know if you guys heard it, but he literally just said that in this downturn, I don't want to buy a lot of rentals. Okay, now I know most people get kind of fearful at this point when they say downturn or correction or recession, but already I can tell that he understands that investors buy low, okay, and sell high. Investors buy when no one else think that you're able to buy. Investors find and make opportunities. So I can already tell this is about to be a good video.
And going through the course syllabus and going through the outlines and stuff. And this was the topic, and I'm going to go over this story, okay? And it's from Fox Business, but it's entitled, "Most Home Buyers Don't Shop for Mortgages." And this information is coming from Zillow, okay? Zillow has a pretty good idea about this. And it is so absolutely true. Whether I was buying my own, when I bought my first home, I had 3 good faith estimates right in front of me. A good faith estimate is a document that the lender is required to give you after a certain amount of time. I believe it's still, I want to say it's still 24 hours of when you go and visit a lender and you give them your credit score, you fill out an application, and they go over all your different loan options. They're required by law to actually, at least in California, give you a document that summarizes what they're offering you, all the fees.
Real quick pause on that one. So that's a California law. It's gonna vary state to state, but honestly here in North Carolina, when you go get your pre-qual, here in North Carolina, the bank just gives you a pre-qual letter. They don't tell you what your rate is gonna be. They just say, hey, here's how much money you can shop with. Here's a letter that says, hey, based off of some contingencies, you can, buy a $150,000 house, go shop. So that's not necessarily true for most states.
And everything, right? When I bought my first house, I had 3 sitting in front of me, and the differences were remarkable, all right? It's very, very important that people do this, but nobody does it. It blows me away. So many people pick their lender by a referral, or it's a friend of a friend, or it's their friend or a family member, right? And they don't understand how brokers work, the difference between someone at a bank that gives out a mortgage as opposed to a broker, the different types of offerings that brokers give. They don't have access to every single thing. It just blows my mind. So let's dive into the story. Stop talking about my experience. But my point being is that I had multiples.
So real quick, just to explain it because he didn't, the difference between a bank and a mortgage broker is one bank just has one loan criteria. So example, so I bank with First Bank downtown, and I also bank with American National Partners here in Greensboro. Now, for the last for the last 6 years, I've been banking with First Bank, sending all of my wholesale deals, all of my rehabs, all of my expenses are going through First Bank. Literally, they've probably seen, 3 million or more come through those bank accounts during that time. But they've never been willing to, lend me money. Okay. Now, American National Partners, they're another local bank, a little smaller bank, and they recently reached out to me and said, hey, we see you're an investor in the area. If we provide you funding for your houses, will you bring our accounts over? So, but once again, those are two just individual banks, and they both have their own separate, criteria. So I just did my first refinance with American National. They literally did almost nothing and took 3 weeks to refinance a deal, and I moved my money over to their bank, and that's a benefit for them. So if I would have just stayed with First Bank, I would have never been able to find a new bank. Now, before I started working with American National, I also used a mortgage broker. So a mortgage broker simply has relationships created already with multiple different banks, and they essentially can shop your credit, they can shop your refinance deal, they can shop your loan to value, they can shop all of the different terms that go inside of a loan, the points up front, the points on the back. They can shop all of these different terms of your loan and get you the best loan, supposedly the best loan for your particular deal, and walk you through a scenario a little bit better than just going to one bank and getting turned down because you don't meet their criteria. They literally can put you out there in front of 50 or 100 different banks, which will essentially help you get more, financing options, which will essentially help you buy more houses or refinance more, so you can do more deals. And that's what he's talking about. So definitely get you guys a really good mortgage broker. I'll link mine down below, Brandy Sims. And then I'll also pop in for you guys that are in North Carolina, American National Partners, just in case you guys want to reach out and see what they have to offer.
Whether it be for my own personal home or for every rental property I've ever bought or flip property I ever bought, I had multiple documents in front of me to be able to make the best decision, and I was literally saving thousands and thousands of dollars every single time, and I'll show you guys that in the course. All right, it says, when it comes to researching which purchases best fit their finances, buyers said they spent more time browsing for cars and vacations than they did mortgages. A recent survey by Zillow Home Loans said, now, let me just stop there. Think about this. The difference, now I'll just give you a quick story. The first time I bought my home, I actually had my lender, the documents from the lender that I picked, because I had 3 of the best documents, right? Or 3 of the best quotes that I could get. I picked one. I went with that one. I still took my loan docs before I signed them to a real estate attorney, and he found a fee on there, a $10,000 fee that was being put out at the last document as I was signing escrow docs. Absolutely crazy. And he says, I would check on that fee, and I had that fee wiped off.
Now, this right here is a huge tip for everybody. For me, even when I buy a property, I use my real estate attorney to handle my docs. Okay, now if the seller, even when you're wholesaling the deal, if the seller wants to use his own attorney, great, he can do that, but my attorney is gonna handle my seller docs and handle the actual recording. When I'm doing a refinance, if the mortgage company want to use another attorney, sure they can, but my attorney is going to handle my portion of the docs. That's because you need a partner that's on your team looking out for your best interest, especially when these mortgage companies throw you a 100-page document and you don't have time to sift through them all. It's 100 pages for a reason, because there's ways they're making money in there that they didn't tell you about, and your attorney will be able to sift through. He gets paid to sift through and find those incorrections or those data points that can help you save money. So that's a huge tip right there.
I'll tell that story later, but it's just crazy to think that people spend more time, like they say, shopping for cars and vacations than they do mortgages, when you're talking about thousands of dollars that you could be saving at escrow close, or tens of thousands of dollars over the life of loan based on the terms of your loan, whether it be your rate and how long the loan is set for. Think about that. I mean, people, all they care about, like I said, is where they're going and what they're driving. They're not thinking about what's backing up their home. you know, especially the back-end documents of the loans. It absolutely blows my mind. It says 72% of prospective home buyers reported that they have not shopped around for a mortgage and they don't intend to. So they're even telling you, yeah, I get it, I should be shopping, but I'm not going to. I mean, that just blows my mind. And that should tell you the mentality.
Very good point, guys. You guys gotta shop around. Now, there's a lot of people that hit me on Instagram and say, hey, Sawan, I got this house, I'm trying to refi. I've been to 3 different banks, they're not gonna, you know, they're not doing anything for me. Guys, at the end of the day, you gotta shop around, just like he's saying. And honestly, if you didn't talk to at least 50 banks, you're not really shopping, okay? It's, people take, I literally bought these, I bought these headphones, or these like, this ear protections for when I'm shooting my guns. And I probably spent maybe 3 months just researching what are good, hearing protection, because your hearing is important, and what he's saying is you need to know that your mortgage loan is important. Somebody that you're gonna have a relationship for the next 30 years, that's very important, where if numbers are off just a little bit, you could be losing $100,000 very easily because of this long-term relationship. So shop. It's okay to shop. Now, shopping doesn't mean that everybody pulls your credit. For me personally, when I'm talking to a bank or a mortgage broker, most of the time it's me interviewing them. Like, are you even qualified to work with me? They're qualifying you. Why can't you qualify them? Because you're hiring them to work for you.
Of the home buyer that we've seen in the last 3 years move into this stupid hot market, overinflated market. So those are the same people that are going to be losing their houses in this next downturn. So these are the kind of things that give you as an investor, a real estate investor, that just like, oh yeah, we're going to destroy this. I mean,
golden nugget right there. Okay, he pointed out in particular, in the last 3 years, people that have purchased are gonna be losing their houses. So that means when you're going to create your list, for houses that you're gonna wholesale or prospects that you're gonna be calling to see if they're motivated, that might be, hint, a great list to pull on listsource.com. Purchases, that were made in the last 3 years, call them, make them offers to say, hey, if you want to sell, I'll be more than glad to buy by taking over your monthly payments. Okay, that's what he's talking about. Not because these people that purchased in the last 3 years, they're not going to have any equity because, like you said, they got the highest loan to values, but they got the best rates. Okay, and when they want to go sell, they're going to have to bring money out of their pocket in order to sell. So us as investors, we can target those people and make them creative offers and save them, for, just like he said, from losing their houses. Great piece right there.
I'm not joking, and I know I say it with a smile, and I'm trying to warn everybody, but you just can't warn, obviously, like Zillow says, 72% of the population that are buying houses. It says here, by contrast, survey respondents said they spent a month researching other items before buying them, including the next car purchase, which was 28%, their next vacation, 23%, and their next TV purchase, a whopping 12%. What did I tell you? Seriously, I've been talking about big screen TVs and the psychology of the consumer ever since I started this channel. Oh gosh, it was like when all those stimulus checks came out. Sorry, I just can't help myself. You see people just running out the Walmart just with that big old TV, like, look at me. Oh, this is why we have crashes, everybody. This is it. This is why. And you should just sit there and grin and go, I'm starting to finally get it. I get it.
Straight Republican.
It's weird. It's like you could set a calendar to it, the Jewish calendar. And it's true. The Jewish calendar shows every 7 years. There is a recession, about 10 years. But the thing is, it's absolutely amazing. It's this totally different a calendar that goes back into time and tells you all these things. That was because the calendar was changed. What is it? The Gregorian calendar. And it sort of made things disappear, And I only say Jewish calendar because it's the first calendar. It's the one that actually goes by the sun, the moon, the cycles, and the stars. And it's amazing. And so you could see this play out in human behavior, human emotion. We've probably talked about war cycles before and the fourth turning. This is nothing new. It is a big calendar. And it's just like, I know this is not about mortgages, but think about this. Think about this and put it into context to home buying and mortgages, right? When the moon goes around, or Was it, does the moon go around the earth? Man, I never paid attention in school. Anyway, let's put it this way. The moon comes up and it goes down, all right? It's so powerful.
Now he kind of goes off on a little rant here, but I think it's kind of worthwhile. Now, because a lot of people, a lot of people are just kind of moving about their day, not understanding exactly what's happening. But I think there's some malice to this. I think when there's something going on, weather related, when there's something going on with the sun, the moon, the stars, I do believe that all of that affects us, okay? And in just a second, he's about to say, if the moon, the sun, the stars affects how the ocean tide moves, how the tide can come up and rise and go down, how the whole earth can spin around and the earth is consistently moving, then of course when these things happen, if it could push the whole ocean, if it could push the whole ocean 20 or 30 feet, why don't you think that our bodies are affected? And so I definitely believe that fully 100%. Like, seriously, drink more water, smoke less, drink less alcohol, and see how that changes your mindset and see how that changes the things that you do. I definitely agree with that.
It causes the oceans, the tides to go in and to draw out, right? That magnetic pull. Now think about that. Our bodies are mostly water. So what do you think? That's why when there's a full moon, everybody goes nuts. Not us, not you, not me, not you. The nutty people, not Ninja Nation, the crazy people. Now think about that. That's what these calendars are on, right? So like I said, you just look at this. We have seen peak crazy, and we're about to see even crazier, but on the different side. Peak crazy, buying, buy. I'm missing out, diamond hands, all that crap. And then all of a sudden it's like, blah, and everything falls down. And it's gonna recycle again. And that's what gets me super excited. Now, I'll finish the story. We're talking about mortgages. Most of you have already hung up. I'm sorry. Well, no, I don't have to apologize. You already hung up. I'll talk to myself. While TVs offer warranties or replacements plans in case something breaks, sometimes you only get one chance to get the right home loan structure and strategy in place. Jim Black, Executive Director of Lending Strategy at Calc, said, Markets move, home values go up and down, and qualifications can change, which makes it crucial to work with a local expert that can offer you several different programs to make a concrete decision for the long term. I completely agree with that. But what he's not saying too, as markets go up, at the top of a market cycle, lending requirements starting to get a little tight until all of a sudden sales wane in real estate and banks aren't making money. Lenders are making money, and then what happens is lending restrictions loosen, and that is what's happening right now. So that's another thing people need to really navigate, and those are things that we're going to be going over in the course, because I think it's very, very important that people understand what are the different parts of a good faith estimate. What are you looking for in a lender?
Boom. I think that's a really good point. So whenever the market is doing really good, okay, whenever the market is slowing down, banks will open up their terms, right? They're giving higher loan to values. They're allowing people with looser credit to come in. There is lesser down payments. Then when the market goes good, they start tightening restrictions, And so what people don't understand is they say, well, how can we buy in a down market? Well, bank terms are gonna loosen as, as more supply comes to the market, as inflation goes high, as the inflation rate goes higher, as interest rate goes higher, and the market starts to dip just a little bit or correct, banks are going to open up their terms. You're going to start seeing more, no doc loans. We're actually seeing that right now. Okay, we're actually seeing that mortgage that I did with that refinance that I did with American National, straight no doc loan, literally mortgage statements, and that's it. I don't even know if they looked at my articles of organization. But whenever you start to see the market slow down, bank terms are going to open up. So don't get scared. Just make some new relationships with new banks. And he's starting to wrap up the video here, but I think you guys got the message there. In today's market, you guys need to be open. Okay, you guys need to be open. Open to making more relationships with more banks. getting a good mortgage broker on your team, and then also finding those sellers, okay, who are willing to pass along their mortgage if they already have, so that way you guys can get the benefits of appreciation, depreciation, and cash flow. So until the next one, we'll see you guys on another one, okay? Peace, y'all.